Now, England's journey to next summer's World Cup finals began last night, of course, when the team clinched their place after a bit of a nervy night against Poland at Wembley. Well, Roy Hodgson's team eventually booked their place in Brazil as group winners. So now the rush begins for fans to secure their tickets for the games. Well, with us now to discuss what they might expect in Brazil is Sarah Bradley, who's Managing Director of Journey Latin America, a company specialising in trips to Brazil. Sarah, thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
So I'm sure lots of England fans are now thinking, right, I'm going to book my trip to Brazil next year. What's in store for them? It's quite expensive there, and it's a country involving huge distances, isn't it?
That's right. Well, of course, England fans won't know exactly where England are playing until sometime in early December. And so far, we've had a lot of interest from people generally who just really want to experience what Brazil has to offer. If England is the home of football, then Brazil really is the sort of the heart and the spirit of football. And a lot of people want to be able to sort of experience what Brazil has to offer and perhaps take in a match, but really enjoy the atmosphere and the party kind of vibe that there'll be.
So to build a whole kind of trip of a lifetime around the football, because obviously you think about Rio and, you know, the beaches there, but there's a lot more to Brazil than that.
Absolutely. And I think it's important that people are flexible as well and think beyond just Rio. There are 12 host cities from north to south, and wherever you end up seeing the football, there's always going to be something that you can do. You're going to be within striking distance of some great sites, whether it's the beaches of northeastern Brazil. If you're watching your football in the south, then you're close to Iguazu Falls and possibly even being able to go to somewhere like Buenos Aires in Argentina. It's a fantastic time of year to go to the Pantanal and see the wildlife there, and some of the host cities are quite close to that as well. So there's going to be plenty to do for people.
So if you try and do some of that, plus your match tickets and your hotels, you're talking about a pretty expensive trip.
You're talking about a trip of a lifetime. It's going to be a great opportunity for people to be there. And costs are going to be high during the World Cup. There's no doubt about it. Availability in somewhere like Rio at the moment from a hotel accommodation point of view is extremely limited, and hotel prices reflect that.
Just give us an idea of some of the holidays that your company are offering. I mean, at the higher end of the market, is that right? Generally,
yes. I mean, we sell flights to people who want to make their own arrangements and do their own thing when they're in Brazil. We're spending a lot of time putting together tailor-made arrangements for people who, as I say, want to experience something that Brazil has to offer, do a little bit of travelling around, soak up the atmosphere, may have a ticket or maybe hopeful of getting a ticket. We're also running one of our classic highlights trips to Brazil, which actually starts the week before the World Cup, so that people can really join in the sort of excitement of the build-up and get to see somewhere like Rio and the Iguazu Falls before all the kind of madness of the football starts.
There has been some unrest, hasn't there? There's been protests about, well, some people protesting about the whole staging of the World Cup in Brazil. Is that going to put people off going there, do you think? The worry that those protests might continue into next year?
I don't think so. And I don't think it should do either. I think people should probably be prepared for the fact that there may be some disruption if there are protests around the World Cup. Typically, there may be some disruption to travel arrangements, and I think that's just something that people are going to have to take on board and be prepared for. But I don't think it should let anyone have any undue concerns with regard to security. Brazilians are tremendously welcoming, very warm, and really looking forward to sharing their carnival of football with everybody.
And the weather, by the way, just very briefly, next June, July, when the World Cup will be?
It's going to depend where you are, because, as I say, from north to south, but winter generally, possibly rainy in the northeast, hot and humid in the Amazon. Could be very pleasant in Rio.
That's a very good weather forecast. Thank you very much indeed, Sarah Bradley.